Hello everyone and welcome to another YouTube video. In this video we are going to talk about the variables in Python. A variable is just a container that stores data values. Usually that will be called upon during the execution of the program. Unlike other programming languages, Python has no command for declaring variables. If you are to take C programming, for every variable that you have that you want to use in your program, you must always declare it. So in C, you must always declare the value, let's say integer, then you write maybe let's say num, then you declare it as 3. So in other programming languages, this is the case. But in our case today, we are going to discuss about Python. And Python is one of the beginner-friendly languages in programming. So now let's get into the variables and the variable names in Python. We have an integer. An integer is just a whole number. Either can be positive, negative, without any decimals, or unlimited length. And now we can dive deep into integers. We can declare our variable. So let's say we can say age. Your age can never have a decimal. Your age will either be positive and it will never have a point. So uh, let's say your age is, let's say, 40, even though I'm not 40. Then another thing we can say, let's say player. You can never have 2.5 players. I don't know whether such players exist. Imagine you're in a team, then you cannot be 2.5 players in one team. So usually, let's say in football, it is usually 11 players. All right. So now you have understood the variable integers. Integers, they're just something that can never have a decimal, a number that can never have a decimal. So it is always a whole number, right? It can also be negative. Let's say temperature. Sorry, let's say temperature. Temperature can also be negative. Let's say negative 24. So this can also be an integer. So now let's try to print them out and we see. So usually for you to print out an integer, there are always 3 ways, and I'm going to show them to you, but you choose the one that you like better. So the first one you can say print. Let's say we usually use double quotes when we're writing this. Let's say you are number. You are player. Now for here, this is now where we can differentiate all the things. I can say you are, then I can add plus here. All right. Then I can make this number here a string. All right. You are number. So then I put in the variable that is containing the number. All right. Then I can say you are player. This. Then I can also add another plus. Then I say in the team in quotes. All right. You must always put this in quotes because they are strings. Quotes. So this is our first way of representing integers with strings inside them. So if I try to run this program, you can see from the terminal down here. All right. So I run. You see, you are player 11 in the team. So you are player. This is all a string. Then in this variable called player is where we store this number 11. So just what it is telling us, you are player 11 in the team. So this is just the first way of presenting strings. We can also try another way. We can say print. All right. Then we say we open quotes, remember, we say you are, now from here, at this point, we shall put a comma, alright? Then we put, now this time let's use the variable age. So you are, so I'll put here age, sorry, this is not supposed to have a quote here. Then I put a comma here, I say age, then another comma, you are, so it is going to be you are 40, comma, years old, alright? So now let's try to run this and see. But remember, we have to put quotes here because these are just strings. It is just text. So we try to run and see. So let's check our terminal here. So when we run this, you see you are player 11 in the team. That was the first print. Then the second one, you are 40 years old. Alright. So let's go to the last way of printing out an integer with a string. We can say print. Alright. Now for this one, it is what we call the F string. F string usually we start with an F, alright, then we put quotes, then now we type what we want inside the quotes. Let's say you are, now this time let us use the temperature. So let me say the temperature is, so at this point I will now introduce some and these brackets, then I write the variable inside, right? Sorry, temperature is dash, and then we can say degrees, right? So this is also another way of writing uh, a variable which is an integer combined it with a string. So now we can try to run this and see. So it says here the temperature is negative 24 degrees because temperature is the one containing the negative 24. So this is just how you handle integers with strings inside them. So this is the first one where we just convert. So let me try here. Here we convert the integer into a string. That's why we put it in a bracket and we introduce the string. Then here we just use commas. Then the last one here we use an F string where you just introduce quotes. You start with an F, introduce quotes, and use brackets. So here we said the F string and brackets, but know the kind of brackets that you're dealing with, which are these ones. So now we're finished with the integers. Then now let's go to the float. A float or a floating point number is a number. It can also be positive or negative, but it can contain one or more decimals. So it is like the opposite of an integer. So from here we can say just think of things which usually have let's say points. Usually with GPA, your GPA is must always have a point. You cannot get a GPA of 3. If it is 3, at least it must be 3.0. If it is 4, it must be 4.0, right? It can never be 4 without a decimal. It can also be let's say 4 point, sorry. Your GPA can be 3.67. 67. Okay. So now here in this GPA, let's put 4.0. Right. What other things must have points in them? and let's say maybe average, and let's average can be maybe 89.67. Okay, and then for this, it is just so for from the integers. I told you just choose one that will suit you, and then you can continue to use it within the program. You just choose the best that you like. So from here, I won't repeat all these three again, all these three ways, but I will just choose the one that I usually like. So now let's print the GPA. You can say print, right? Then you say introduce quotes. Then you say your GPA is. Now from here, we said I'm going to use one of these today. So let me use just the first one. Let me add here plus. Sorry, a plus here. Then I convert this into a string, right? Then I put here GPA, just like that. Then we can also print the average. You can say print, then we say your average is, and then you can add our plus here. Then you can convert into a string, something of that kind. Then we put the average inside. All right. So this program now, let's try to run it and we see. So it is somewhere here. Sorry. So your GPA is 4.0 and your average is 89.67. So as you can see in this line, your GPA is 4.0. So Python usually has issues with indentation, with the spacing. So if you can see from what I have written here, you must always put a space between the plus and the quote. So when I do this and I try to run it again, you will see that things are now okay. So when I run this, as you can see, your GPA, sorry, somewhere there. So when I run, your GPA, so let me run this. Your GPA is 4.0. I think there is something of this kind. Then also the quotes here, you can do this. So usually you have to leave the space between here and also here at this point. So now when I run, everything should be working very well. Your GPA is 4.0. So that is dealing with the floats, right? Then you can also, this is not limited, you can also print all the variables at once. You can say print and say your GPA is, then you can put the plus here, then we convert to string, then we put GPA here, then we can add another plus. We say your GPA is this, and so we introduce our quotes. We say and your average is. Now we can also put the average there. We say plus, sorry, it must be outside the quote. We say plus, then we convert this to a string. Remember, the string is all small letters. We don't put capital S. Then we convert the average. All right. So we say your GPA is this and your average is that. All right. So now let's try to run this in our program. When you look at the terminal here, so it says your GPA is 4.0 and your average is 8.9. So you must understand how to use such. So I told you, you always just choose one from here that you like, and then you just keep on going with it. So now let's go to hold characters or symbols. Let's say, so we can put our name. So usually your name is always a string. There is no way your name can have a number. Alright. So we can say, and I can put my name. Let's say Samuel. Right. What other thing? I can say YouTube. YouTube. For YouTube, you will always have to press the subscribe button. Alright. So and then I said you can print out in any way that you understand from the beginning of the video until now. So you can say print, then I say quote, I say my name is, what do? We add a plus and then I add the name. Alright. What do we do now? We run the program in our terminal. So when I run this, it says my name is Samuel. So that's just the basics. But for strings, usually we can say, we can also say print, then we just put name here, right, as the variable. This will also print out the name and the string that is holding this value somewhere. Alright. So then we can now go to the booleans. Booleans, they're also kind of variables that will always be true or false. They always represent two values, true or false, 0 or 1. Uh, Usually you can say, I can introduce a variable, let's say called subscribe, right? And subscribe will, I know you're going to subscribe, so I'm going to put true. And remember variable, remember for this variable you have to put a capital T for true. As you can see from here, even capital F is false. Then what thing can be false? Let's say flying, let's say flying, and let's say human, let's say flies. So this is going to be, this is going to be false, not true. I don't know the time when humans will start flying without using either aeroplanes and others. So this boolean, we can also print this. We can print subscribe. So when I print subscribe, what happens? It will always give me the value of that boolean. So it is going to be, as you can see from here, it is always true. Because I know you have all subscribed to this channel. Then so variables, we have the integers. These are the most common ones: floats, the strings, and lastly the booleans. Alright. So I hope you try to understand something from this video. So make sure you comment your favorite way of printing out these strings and integers. And hopefully, because I know that you have subscribed to this channel, and peace.